Welcome to Papyrus Plans. I'm Tasha. Ready to create something beautiful? Let's dive in. Alright everyone, so this is my flip through of my reading journal for the year. I did meet my goal of reading 12 books for the year. And this is the first time I've met my goal in the last 4 or 5 years because just life has been lifing. And I think a large part of the reason why I was able to meet my goal was because of this reading journal. So let's do a final flip through. Again, this is the Paperblanks reading journal of the 𝐈𝐍𝐸 Dumas limited edition book. And if you haven't seen initial setup, I'll link that below for you guys to look at. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is the title page of my book, and I use rice paper to do this, as well as some scrapbook paper and different ephemera on this. So this is the first page. This is the first book that I read. Actually, book number 2 that I read, but I decided to list the first book first in my book journal just because I thought it just made more sense. So I've read this book second, but this is the first book in the series, and it's The Spanish Daughter by Lorena Hughes. Book 2, which I actually read first, is The Queen of the Valley by Lorena Hughes. The next one is Murder in an Irish Village by Caroline O'Connor. Murder at an Irish Wedding by Caroline O'Connor. And again, this is book 2 in the Irish Village series. And I think this was the impetus to kind of really motivate me to really start reading and to continue reading. Murder in an Irish Churchyard. Again, continuing the Irish Village series by Caroline O'Connor. Murder in an Irish Pub. And then I thought I just needed a little bit of a break, even though I was really enjoying Caroline O'Connor's Irish Village series. I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. I have pretty eclectic reading taste, and I hadn't read any romance novels in a while, and I came across this book, and it had a little bit of mystery and intrigue, and I thought, okay, this doesn't sound like a typical romance. And so I read The Orchids of Ashthorne Hall by Rebecca Anderson, and I really enjoy this. I decided to continue reading with romance, and I read An Inconvenient Letter by Julie Wright next. Then I stumbled upon Mr. Gardner and the Governess by Sally Britton, and I absolutely adored this book. I think this was my favorite novel that I read out of all of the novels for the year. Just beautifully written, great prose. Sally Britton's a great writer. This is the first thing that I've ever read by her. I have never read any of her books before, and I think it was a great introduction to her. And this book made me want to continue reading some of her other books. And then when I found out that this had a sequel, I knew that I had to add that to my to-be-read pile. And so this is book 2 in the series, A Companion for the Count by Sally Britton. Again, when I found out that this was not just a standalone, but the first book in a series, I knew I had to add this to my list. And it didn't disappoint. I mean, I definitely preferred the first book to this one. Book 1 was just so completely captivating for me. But this also was a really good book as well. Easy read, just like the first book. And I also still enjoyed this as well. I will say book 1 definitely edged this out. I just think it was just a stronger book in terms of plot, character development. It was a little bit more complicated, not in a bad way, but just more complicated in terms of the plot line. This one was a little bit more predictable, but again, still enjoyable. Then I returned back to the Irish Village series by Caroline O'Connor. This is Murder in an Irish Cottage. And this is really the first book that she fully leaned into Irish folklore, and I absolutely loved that. My grandmother was Irish, so I love the fact that she brought that in a little bit more, and I kind of was wondering if she ever was going to do it, and honestly, I didn't think that she was. So I love the fact that she actually did take the time to actually, write a mystery surrounding that. I thought it was appropriate. I mean, a lot of her books have little historical tidbits thrown in there, which I appreciate because I love historical fiction, but I really like the fact that she just completely incorporated the Irish customs and superstitions in this novel, because it hadn't really been done that much up until this point. I mean, a little bit in some of the other novels here and there, but really small snippets. This one is, again, it's just a full lead into that. Next is Murder at an Irish Christmas. And this was my last book of the season. and I really enjoy this. But I have to say, I really was annoyed by one of the characters, at least Elliot, and I talked a lot about that in, I think, my previous video when I create this spread and do a short, give a short synopsis of the book. And I'm definitely going to continue the series because I just love it so much, and I love Siobhan O'Sullivan as a character, and I love the growth arc that she has throughout all of the books that I've read so far in the series. I just love the way that she's developed as a person and how she's figuring things out in her life. And I love the fact that she's a very strong woman, independent, and she stands up for herself, even when no one else does. So I really love that about her. But again, I'm really deeply hoping that the author finds a way to get rid of Elise because I just do not like her. But those are all of the spreads of the books that I've read this year. Again, I met my goal of reading 12 books, and I think that's largely due to the fact that I started a book journal. So if you're struggling to really, meet your goal like I was for several years in a row, just because of your obligations that you have or different things that you're going through personally or professionally, I would consider starting a reading journal. And it doesn't have to be, a creative journal like I did. You could just simply just write a short synopsis. You can write a sentence or two about the book and just have the book cover. You can just, you can do anything you want because it's your journal. I'm a very creative and visual person, so I chose to kind of do this in the style of like a creative journal. But again, you can do anything that you want. But again, those are the spreads. And I'll just do another quick flip through. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for me. I'll talk to you later. Bye. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay inspired, and thank you for watching.